Hello, my name is Keith Bird. I'm a relatively new game designer. So I took part in Nagademon this year for 2016. If you're not familiar with Nagademon, if you're not watching this on the Nagademon group for some reason, it's National Game Design Month in the vein of NaNoWriMo for tabletop games, tabletop supplements, board games, etc. So the game I made this year is called Clashin' Crusaders. It is a rogue-like dice and card game in the vein of like classic video games. I'm pretty happy with what I was able to accomplish. Kind of ran into a few setbacks, but I'll show you what I've made for the 30-day challenge, and kind of follow up with like a just overall just general run through of my experience and what I wish I did a little bit better during my 30 days. So let me show you the different parts of the board. So this black deck of cards is the foe deck. So these are all the monsters and challenges you're going to fight. The gold cards are your items, which you earn items by killing bosses. Here's your player board, your character sheet basically. So up along the top you have your level marker. And the hearts also mean how many dice you have, and that's basically your hit points. So as you take damage from fighting the monsters, you will have less and less dice to use as you go. And each of these the player dice are tied to the stats on the board. So when you level up, you can level up one of your stats to get an additional die. So that's basically how that mechanic works. So resetting everything back here. So all your stats start at level 1, start at 1. How a turn would go. If you're not familiar with how the dice are set up, let me just go and break those down really quick. So the red die is the might die, and on that, which I have on this player reference here, might has 3 attack, 2 block symbols, and a fury, which is like used for special attacks. Then the next die is your skill die, and this die, according to the reference, has 2 black attack pips, 2 green star cunning pips, so these are used for the various special attacks or special abilities. It has 1 purple block pip, and it also has 1 mana symbol, which is used for other abilities as well. So this one's really a hybrid of the dies. It has a little bit of might, but also has a little bit of ability generation too. The last die, last player die, is the magic die. So the magic die only has 1 attack pip, but it has 3 blue mana symbols, has 1 green cunning symbol, and 1 gold fury symbol. So getting more magic die is going to help you trigger your abilities more often, but you are more vulnerable to attack. So that's the player die. Now you can see here there is a string of green and black die. So one of the last changes I made before the end of the month was basically making die for the monsters, and as you level up, you roll more and more of these die. So the green die just has 2 attack pips and 1 block pip, but all the other sides are blank. So there's a 50-50 chance that something's going to happen. And most likely it's going to be an attack, but it could be in a block. The black die it has 1 block pip, but it has 2 block pips, but all the other pips are considered attack. So this is the steady increase, and these are kind of more of a curve. It helps make things not so dire right away. Just having one of these with a monster is not too bad, but as you level up and get more and more die, the challenge of the deck gets harder and harder as well. So let me go walk you through a turn. So with the current iteration, you would just determine how deep you're going to go. So I'm going to draw 2 cards to represent how deep into the dungeon I'm going. I'm going to reveal the first card. It's a seeker. It's a mini boss, and it also will make me draw a minion. Okay, a minion is a wretched. The way the monsters are set up, so there are 4 suits of monsters for different factions in the game. So the Void is kind of like a evil Cthulhu cult. The demons are demons. That's kind of self-explanatory. There's also the Midnight Clan, Goblin and Orc clan, and Undead. So there's 4 different factions that you're fighting against. The reason why they're suited is because to level up, you're turning in different combinations of the suit or the hit points to get up to the next level. I'll kind of explain that a little bit more in depth. So, I'm level 1. Make this back to level 1. I'm level 1. So to fight the Seeker, I'm going to take all my die, put them in my hand, and then either if I wasn't playing solo, I could have one of the other players roll for the monsters, kind of give them something to do. So I'm playing solo, so I'm just going to put it all in my hand, shift it all up. Okay, so luckily my monster die was completely blank, so I'll just set that aside. Let's see what I'm working with here. So the Seeker has no static attack, so it has a 0. It's resolving on whatever it gets on the die to do damage. So I have 1 attack pip, and if I was taking damage, I am blocking that damage. And then I have a mana symbol. Right now with the level 1 abilities, I can use this to cure, but I haven't taken any damage yet. So we're still rolling, so I do 1 damage to him. I'm going to put one of these pink cubes to represent how much damage I've done to him. And then I'm going to start the whole thing over again. Alright, so another damage coming his way. I rolled a Fury. The level 1 Fury ability is Smash, so I deal 2 attack. So boom, that's what I needed to take him out. So I'll take all these aside, move this out of the way, and I will add this to my score pile. Since he was a boss, I'm going to draw a loot card from the top of the deck. So the first card I drew is a shield. I can go ahead and equip that right away. So items kind of follow the traditional role-playing game sensibilities when it comes to slots. So you have 2 hand slots, you have 1 armor slot, and then you can have up to 3 other items, including other weapons, that you can ready. The way that the items are used, it's not a static thing. It's basically, if I want to use the block on the shield, I would flip it over and that would generate a block. But then I can't use it again unless I mend it, which there is an ability later on to allow me to flip it back over. But I can't use it again that whole run. So the items are really to mitigate dice luck and to help you overcome the odds of once you're kind of have taken some damage and you're rolling less and less die to help mitigate that, to help kind of get you through. Okay, so I'm still fighting a wretched here. I haven't taken any damage yet. I've had really good luck so far. So I'm going to take all my dice again, roll them again. Man, that die is just rolling blanks for me. That's perfectly fine for me though, because that's the monster die. I'm dealing 2 attack to him. Flip my shield back over just in case I need it. I don't have a block pip. The level 1 cunning is a parry, so if I had block pips, I could use the parry maneuver to deal damage when I have block pips. Don't have any of those, so I'm just doing 2 damage. So another 2 tokens here. I'm gonna pick up all my stuff, roll again. And man, that die is just coming up golden for me. I'll switch. Anyways, so now I have a block pip. I'm attacking, and that's going to take this guy out. Take that here, add it to my score pile, and then the second level in. Ooh, it's an abomination. He gets a block by default. Still level 1, so still rolling this. Come on, I'll roll separate, see if I can get some. No, still blank. So let's see here. So he does have 1 attack on here, but I am blocking that, and I do not get through his 1 block though, and I'm not taking any damage, so I can't heal. So no damage gets through. Ooh, there we go. We're getting some damage on there. Well, at least I am. So my one attack will get through his one block. My block will block his attack. I'll use Cunning to parry to deal 1 damage. So now we're on the board. Still blank here. Just make sure I got all the faces. Yeah, that's 50-50. Just been coming up blank for me each time. Okay, so put that back. I will be taking 1 damage, but I'm doing 1 damage to him as well because I got 2 attack pips. I'll go ahead and heal reflexively to avoid having to lose one of my die. Okay, just need 2 more. Come on. Alright. So, oh, we're finally getting attacked here. So, let's see here. Alright, so my block blocks his extra attack. I take 1 damage. I'll use the mana to cure to keep me from losing a die. And I don't get through. Don't get through. Okay, attack. Okay, here we go. Big damage here. So, 1 to get through his block. Another one to do 1 damage to him. And then I'll use the Fury symbol here to deal another 2 damage. That's going to overkill him right there. Boom. Add that to my score pile. So, I've completed that run. If I have used any items, I would then flip them back over, get my board ready for my next turn. Okay, so if I were to try and level up, I have 3 cards in my score pile, but they're different. Suits. But I can also use cards of the same hit points. So the Seeker and the Wretched are both 3 hit point creatures. I will turn those in to level myself up to level 2. I'm going to go ahead and take my skill die and move that to level 2. So when I take my next turn, I will be rolling this pool. But the monsters will be rolling that pool. So I'll keep my Abomination here, and that's basically how a turn works. So at that point, then the other player would go and do their turn. Now, say if they took their turn, let's just simulate that really quick. A Harbinger, and typically you're putting these face down, but we're just trying to kind of show something here. So, say if there's ways to do damage to things outside of this. Typically you're attacking from here down, but some of your abilities that you could trigger as you level up could do damage to foes in a row. So let's see here. There we go. So say he died. For example, say he died. So if he dies, this is still on the board, so that I can take my go at it, and with the the damage stays. It doesn't heal. So there's a risk reward. Like if you bite off more than you can chew, you could set up another player to have a real easy run and get ahead. Now, as you level up, the stakes for dying get worse and worse. When you die at level 2 and above, you have to sacrifice either that level's worth of dead creatures in your score pile, or items either in your inventory or in your bag of holding. Like if you have anything more than your slots, you still have you could have a hand, but you can only use the stuff on your tableau during the run. You're not able to take anything from your bag of holding and add it out there. So that's the basic makeup of the game. I feel like I have a good base, but there needs to be more. I want to add a mechanic where, say if I had a blue card, and say this was the last monster, before my buddy starts his turn, if I have a card in my score pile of the same suit or same hit points, I could tack that onto their run to basically raise the stakes of their run, to kind of try and get them to close out. But you do risk giving someone, if they're, if they get through this challenge pretty good, then I'm giving them extra XP basically. So some slight more player interaction and just more general strategy are things I want to add to this, because right now a lot of it's very random. The dice are very random. You do have abilities that kind of help kind of pick your battles, but it's not quite where I want it to be. But I just wanted to show what I had after the 30 days. So things I did well. I think I nailed the theme. The deck is pretty tough, but there's only maybe a small portion of those monsters, believe it or not, that are really that nasty right out of the gate. There's some different monster abilities. Some do damage when they're adjacent other monsters. Some cancel out. Some have built-in blocks. So there's a good mix, but it could be refined more. I like the suiting. I like the using, basically set collecting to level up. I like how that feels. Sometimes it may drag on, especially if you're dying a lot. So things that I wish I did more of. Obviously playtesting. Didn't really get a chance to do a ton of playtesting. Did some solo hands initially. Solo games, just like, okay, just me kind of moving parts around. But I overlooked how before there weren't the green and black dice, it was just static stats for the monsters. And I still had my easy monsters, and I thought I had a good mix, but it was, there was a lot of chances of first turns getting like a Beholder or a Lich or some other nasty monster that's just going to murk you. That's just going to take you out right away. So the green and black dice kind of helped ramp that up. Once I figured out those dice, then I readjusted the monsters. Some monsters have no base attack, just the level difficulty. So I like how that feels, where it's, especially once you get higher up when you're rolling, especially once you get the black dice. The black die is just like a steady, just solid, either a hit or a block on that die, no matter what. Once you're getting that, you're rolling 2 greens and a black, so there's a potential to, roll, 3 or 4 attack on top of the static monster damage. Now, granted, hopefully you have items and other abilities to help mitigate that. So, but I didn't make the dungeon dice were like the last minute thing. That literally happened on the last day. Did a play test of them the next day, on December 1st, and that felt good. I haven't made any other major changes since, because I wanted to do this video before I started, doing more work on it, just to kind of show what I did in 30 days. But yeah, I wish I play tested more. Definitely next year, making sure I try and do what I can to make my schedule a little bit more open up, so I could, once I have my concept, then I can start play testing right away, because that would have been better use of my time. But I feel I have a strong theme. I need to work on the structure of the game, because right now it's a lot of randomness, and which is, I like random stuff. It's fun, but there's not a lot of choices that you make. So I want to try and find a way to, like for example, using cunning to, like, oh, that's a really nasty monster. Okay, well, if I roll enough cunning, I can sneak past the monster and get to the weaker monsters behind it. And that way, when my next player goes up, they have to fight that monster first. So trying to find some more ways to add choice. Restructuring some of the abilities. I know we didn't really kind of go over a lot of abilities, but I think a lot of those are going to change anyways. And maybe changing it to where instead of you're committing symbols, like the fury, the cunning, and the mana, maybe for certain abilities you're just dedicating dice to that. So that was something that me and my buddy that were playtesting, something that came up, and that, I like that, especially once you get more dice. Then you can really kind of go for those like deeper runs. Say if you have like a blink where they're having to hit you, they still have to roll. They have to roll a green die to see if you hit. Different things like that. So there's obviously a lot of room for improvement. but I just want to show you what I did in the 30-day time window. So yeah, looking forward to next year. Once I get this a little bit more refined, I do want to put together a print and play if people want to check it out. The dice are not too crazy. I mean, there are a lot of them, but I just use plain stickers. Got stickers on Amazon, and those little like foil star stickers you used to use for your grade school homework and stuff like those. You can find blank dice on a lot of different sites, or just convert your own dice. I would just recommend having keeping your colors separate, so you don't have to use the white, yellow, red. You figure out your own color scheme, what have you. But I'm stoked. I made a game with custom dice. I plan to improve the player board, put that on foam board with the little grooves that you kind of saw on my prototype here. Or I may just go like full on dials like Can Tokyo or something like that. But stoked. Definitely learned a lot this month, and I'll be back next year, and I'll still be on the board. So until next time, see you later.